Hello, Cedar Life Church. In this series of SOAP devotional reflections, we're going to look at the book of Luke. This video is an introduction to the book, and I want to share with you 5 important things that's good to know before you start reading. That's the author, the audience, the date and outline, and the purpose of Luke's writing. Now, Luke is one of the synoptic gospels. Synoptic means seeing together, because it shares many of the same stories, often in similar sequence and in similar or sometimes identical wording to Matthew and Mark. What is a gospel? Well, it literally means good news and is a narrative account of the life, teaching and revelation of Jesus Christ. Matthew and John were disciples and eyewitnesses, but Luke and Mark weren't. So I had to do a lot of research speaking to eyewitnesses before they passed away to put these books together. The early church believed in Jesus' imminent return, and when he didn't return and eyewitnesses were dying, the Christians thought it important to record the life and sayings of Jesus. Interestingly, Luke gives the fullest account of Christ's birth, and only in Luke is the parables of the Good Samaritan and prodigal son recorded. So let's look at the author. Well, you might say, well, that's obvious, isn't it? It's in the title of the book. But you know what? That was added later, as Luke and his later book, Acts, were 2 of the 9 anonymous books in the New Testament canon. We know that it was written by Luke because the early church fathers unanimously believed that Luke wrote it. Luke is thought to be the same Luke, the beloved physician of Colossians 4:14, because of his medical interests and terminology in the book. He was also one of Paul's traveling companions. So who was the audience? Who was Luke writing to? Well, Luke addresses his book to a Gentile, or a non-Jewish man named Theophilus, which means friend of God. So the book is about a Gentile writing to a Gentile about a Jewish man, Jesus. The fact that Luke avoids Semitic expressions, explains Jewish customs, has a genealogy going all the way back to Adam, suggests that he's writing to a Gentile audience. So when did Luke write it? What was the date? Well, Luke is dated around AD 60 to AD 62. We get this date mainly because Luke finishes the story of Acts without telling the readers what happened to Paul. Some of Paul's letters were written about the same time as some of the Gospels were written as well. So let's look at a brief outline. What's a brief outline of the book of Luke? Well, we get this from the Wiersbe commentary. And if you look at that, it's basically it gives us an outline from Luke 1:1-4. It's the preface or the actual introduction where Luke introduces his book. Then Luke 1:5-4:13 is the journey from heaven to earth. Then Luke 4:14-9:17 is the journey through Galilee. Then Luke 9:18-19:27 is a journey to Jerusalem where Jesus is focused on getting to Jerusalem. And finally, Luke 19:28-24:53 is his ministry in Jerusalem. And that's where Jesus sets his sight on his mission, which is to go to the cross. We also have a key verse. The key verse in the book of Luke is Luke 19:10. It says, "For the Son of Man came to seek and save the lost." What an awesome verse that is for a key verse. So what was the purpose that Luke wrote the book? Well, there's several purposes. The first one is to help convince his readers that what they were being taught was actually true and reliable. He also wrote it to explain why the majority of Israel rejected Jesus. Also to show how Gentile believers related to the promises made to actually Israel. Also to clarify Jesus' teaching concerning end times. And also to assure his readers that Rome was not a threat to them. Remember, they were believing that Jesus was going to return at any time, but when he didn't, they realized they had to live in this Roman Empire and make life work. I hope this has helped you. This brief little introduction into the book of Luke as we start this journey and travel through the whole book of Luke. God bless.